Hey everybody, I hope everybody's having a great week this week. So this week was popping and dropping is a house with the message pop up. If you notice, as you open the house, the message spins out and it just says hello. And then on the front of the house we did some stepping stones with the front door, and then on the side we did a chimney and windows, and on the tree back here we did a little I don't know if we can see that, did a little tire swing. So why don't we go ahead and head over to Design Space, and I am going to show you how we can create this card. Let's go. Okay guys, now that we're here in Design Space, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go to Shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make it 10.5 by 6.5. Then we're going to go to Shapes again and get another score line. And we're going to make that score line 6.5 inches long. And then if you grab them both, go up to Align Center. It'll center it for us. And then we can go down to the bottom and click on Attach. And let's just scoot this piece over. We're going to need 4 sheets of pretty paper. They're going to be 5 by 6.25. And we're going to take 2 of them, group them, and then we're going to go ahead and set these aside also. Let's get 2 pieces of our pretty paper that are 5 by 6.25. We're going to place the first one, the X at 1 and the Y at 1. Then our second sheet, we're going to place the X at 6.25 and the Y at 1. Then let's go to Shapes, and we're going to get a circle. We're going to make it 4.375 by 4.375. Then we're going to place the X at 3.854 and then the Y at 2.722. Then what we can do is grab both of our green sheets, weld them together. And then once we weld them together, let's grab the circle and the 2 squares and click on Slice. And then we should have something that looks like this. And then we can place this on top of our card base. And this is going to go on the inside of our card. And to go to Shapes, we are going to get a square. We're going to make it 0.747 by 0.284. And then we're going to get another square, and we are going to make it 0.608 by 1.127. And we're going to place the X at 1.076 and the Y at 1.165. Then let's go to Shapes and get a score line. We're going to make that score line 0.608. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1.076 and the Y at 2.039. Then we're going to grab the rectangle and our score line, and then go down to the bottom in our layers panel all the way to the bottom, and we're going to click on Attach. This is going to be our chimney. You can weld these 2 pieces together if you want. I don't want to because I like to make the top part a different color sometimes. So now we're just going to group it together. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a square, but we're going to get this square with the rounded corners. We are going to make it 2.175 by 3.036. We're going to place the X and the Y at 1. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to make that score line 2.175. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place our X at 1 and our Y at 2.518. Then we're going to grab them both and then go down to the bottom and click on Attach. And then we're finished with these 2 pieces. To shapes, we are going to get a square. We're going to make it 5.671 by 1.181. We're going to place the x at 1.442 and the y at 1.767. Then we're going to go to shapes and get another square. We'll make it 0.037 by 1.662. We're going to rotate it 45.35 degrees. We're going to place the x at 1.06 and the y at 1. Then we can right click, duplicate that square. We're going to rotate it 312.39 degrees. We're going to place the x at 1.985 and the y at 1.044. Then we can click on both of these pieces here, and let's go down to the bottom and we're going to click on slice. Then once we've sliced them, let's go to the top. Let's click on one of them, and then we're going to go down to the bottom to contour, and then we're going to get rid of that little piece, and then we're going to do the same to the other side. Then what we can go ahead and do is grab them both and then weld them together. Then let's highlight our welded piece and our square, and then we're going to go down to the bottom and click on slice. And then let's click on our triangle piece, go to contour, and then we're going to get rid of this chunk right here. Then what we're going to do is right click, then we're going to highlight all of our rectangle pieces and then go down to the bottom and click on weld. And then we should have one solid piece again. Then we can right click, duplicate, and then we're going to take this piece, we're going to place the x at 3.696 and the y at 1. And our big peach piece down here, the x should be at 1.002 and the y at 1.625. Then once we have that, let's grab everything and then go down to the bottom and click on weld. And then we should have something that looks like this. Then let's highlight it, go to contour, and hide all contours. Our house should be, the x and y should be at 1. Then we're going to go get a square. We're going to make it 2.713 by 0.5. You're going to place the x at 2.317 and the y at 2.625. Then let's grab it all and then go down to the bottom and click on weld. And then we have this. Now we're going to take our peach house and we're going to make sure the x and the y is on 1. And then we're going to adjust it. We are going to make it 6.823 and the height 2.556. Then we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to make it 1.345. We're going to place the x at 2.584 and the y at 1.786. Then we'll duplicate that score line. We're going to place the x at 4.243 and the y at 1.786. The next one, we're going to place the x at 5.846 and the y at 1.86. And then the last one right here, we're going to place the x at 7.488 and the y at 1.786. Then we can duplicate that score line. We're going to make it 3.215 in height. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the x at 2.606 and the y at 3.183. Then we're going to go to shapes and we're going to get another score line. Then we're going to go up to the top. We're going to change it to a basic cut. We're going to resize it to 0.393. We're going to rotate it back to 0. We're going to place the x at 4.243 and the y at 3.166. Then we're going to grab it all, go down to the bottom in our layers panel and click on attach. And then we can go ahead and move this piece aside. Okay guys, we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get this triangle right here. We're going to make it 1.142 by 2.806. We're going to place the x at 1.528 and the y at 1. Then let's go to shapes and we are going to get a square. We're going to make that square 2.181 by 0.556. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 3.361. Then we're going to grab them both and then go down to the bottom and we're going to click on Slice. And then we should have this piece here. We're going to adjust this to 2.201 by 0.467. We're going to place the X at 1.947 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to go to Shapes and we're going to get a square. We're going to make it 1.563 by 0.076. We'll rotate it 316.85 degrees. Place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.157. Then we can right click, duplicate. We're going to rotate it 43.08 degrees. Place the X at 3.84 and the Y at 1.101. Then let's grab it all and then go down to the bottom and click on Weld. And then we should have this piece. Our peach piece should still be the X and Y at 1. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make it 3.205 by 0.389. We're going to place the X at 1.426 and the Y at 1.729. Then we're going to grab them both and then go down to the bottom and click on Slice. Let's highlight the peach piece, go down to the bottom to Contour, and then we're going to get rid of those two bottom pieces that's sticking out. Then let's click on the purple piece and then go to Contour, and then we want to get rid of these two triangles here. So you should be left with something that looks like this. Then let's grab it all and then go down to the bottom and click on Weld. And then we have this piece. So let's highlight it, go to Contour, and let's hide all contours. Now we have this piece here. Now we're going to adjust this piece to 2.206, and it should adjust your height to 0.77. And we're going to make sure our X and our Y is at 1. And then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to make that score line 0.43. Let's rotate it 180 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1.323 and the Y at 1.017. Then let's duplicate that score line. We're going to place the X at 2.936 and then the Y at 1.017. Then we can duplicate that score line, but we're going to adjust the height to 1.535. Then we'll rotate it 90 degrees. We'll place the X at 1.339 and then the Y at 1.497. Then we can grab it all and then go down to the bottom and click on Attach. And then we have that piece done. It's going to be a square. We're going to make it 4.755 by 2.535. We're going to place the X at 1.006 and the Y at 1. Let's go to Shapes. We're going to get a score line. Then we're going to go up to Operations and change it to a basic cut line. We're going to make this cut line 1.396. We're going to place the X at 3.975 and the Y at 1. Then we can right click, duplicate that cut line. We're going to adjust the height to 1.424. We're going to place the X at 5.267 and the Y at 1.012. Then let's get another cut line. We're going to make it 0.632. We're going to place the X at 4.69 and then the Y at 1.774. Then we're going to get another cut line. We're going to make it 0.515. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 5.255 and the Y at 2.398. Then our next cut line, we are going to make 3.625. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1.032 and the Y at 2.398. Then you can duplicate that cut line, and we're going to adjust it to 2.029. It should be rotated 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 2.78. Then we're going to need another cut line, and it's going to be 1.138 in height. We're going to rotate it 69.78 degrees. We're going to place the X at 3.011 and the Y at 2.388. Then our last cut line, we are going to make 0.736. We're going to rotate it back to 0. We're going to place the X at 1.525 and the Y at 2.786. Now let's work on our score line. So let's go get a score line. We are going to make it 0.672. We're going to place the X at 2.191 and the Y at 2.817. Then we can duplicate that score line. We'll adjust the height to 1.058. We're going to place the X at 5.369 and the Y at 2.438. Then we can duplicate that score line. We're going to make it 1.058 in height. We're going to place the X at 4.69 and the Y at 2.427. Then we're going to get another score line. We're going to make it 2.037. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We'll place the X at 3.204 and the Y at 2.398. Then our next score line, we're going to make 0.831. Let's rotate it 314.87 degrees. Let's place the X at 4.057 and then the Y at 2.385. Then we can right click, duplicate that score line. We're going to adjust it to 0.762. We'll rotate it 45.13 degrees. We're going to place the X at 4.69 and the Y at 2.446. Then what we're going to do is grab everything and then go down to the bottom and click on Attach. Get an oval. We're going to make it 3.208 by 1.241. Then we can duplicate that oval and then we're going to adjust the size to 4.255 by 1.646. And then we can group it together. And this is going to be used for your signing. I'm pressed for time this week, so down here are extra pieces that I've already made that you're more than welcome to use. You will need string for or yarn or something for the tire swing on the tree if you're going to use that. And that is it. So don't forget to go up and name and save your project, and we can go ahead and get these pieces cut out, and then I'll meet you at the craft table and I'll show you how to put it together. I'll see you there. Okay guys, if we have our pretty paper and our card base, we can go ahead and work our line on our card base. And then for this piece, if you used it, how we cut it differently for our pretty paper, you are just going to line it up like we usually do and try to center it the best as you can. So that looks about right to me. So, and we can go ahead and glue this down too. So let's do that. This end is the end I'm gonna make my house face. So if you want, let's get all of our pieces out that we're going to use for our house. Alrighty, so this piece we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 mountain folds. So if you want to go ahead and work those. Then when I'm on the center mountain fold right here, what we're going to do is take our scissors and we're going to from about right here, from about right here to this corner, so about that much we're going to snip off. And it doesn't have to be precise. So that's what it's looking like. And it should look like so. Oh, and we got 2 down here on our tab, so those will be mountain folds too. So we got that done. And we just fold our piece flat, and then this end will meet up, and we're just going to put a little glue on it and put it to this side. And then while your glue is drying, you can give it a little move back and forth just to make sure it's laying nice and flat. And it doesn't quite bump up to our edge over here. So I want you to just take note of that. So don't force it to that edge, just wherever it lays naturally. And then let's put him aside, and we can work our roof. And there's just one score line there, and it will be a mountain fold. And then let's get our roof piece out, which looks like that. And we have 4 tabs on it, so we can work those. And the center one tabs, we have 2, and one is going to go towards you, and then the other one will go away from us. So you should have something that's looking like that. It's kind of hard to see. Now we can go ahead and put this piece on, and then I'm gonna go and decorate our house. So this little triangle piece here will match up with our roof of our house, like so. You see that? Uh-oh, I kind of moved it, but it'll match right up nicely. And then this side will fold the opposite way, and it will match up with this point of our house. So that is how it's going to set in the roof there. So let's put a little glue on this and then line it up. So that's what it looks like on that side. And then if you look on that side, that's what it's looking like. Okay? And then we can turn the house this way, and if you look, it's lined up already where it needs to go. So we can just pull this tab forward and put a little glue on this side and then lay it down on our home. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And either way you turn it, it should lay nice and flat. Now, before I go any further, and I'm going to snip these off first though. just a little off the corner there. Oh, and I guess I should tell you, if this is going to be the back side of our home where our two tabs are at, so this is going to be the front of our house where I'm going to put my front door, and you can do it however you choose. So I'm going to go ahead and go decorate. And as you can see, for the grass, if you're using it, I just made it as long as each piece of the sides of the house, and then I'm going through and just snipping it off where I don't need it. Alright, so I have my house finished, and that's what it's looking like. And now we can put on our roof. One tab is going to go towards us, one tab is going to go away from us. Okay, like so. You want to try to center this the best you can on your home. Okay, that's our score line where I just drew the line. And you want to line your tab right up in that score line. Once you have it centered. Okay, and then when you have it in place and you're ready to go, put a little glue on this tab here, and we're going to fold the roof towards it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the glue down. And then we can turn it over and do the same thing to our other side. We'll just put a little glue and then fold our roof down on our house. And then once it's dry, you can just open up your house and it just stays on there so nice and neat. Isn't that cool? Cute, cute, cute. So if you're finished decorating your house, what we can do is, oh, poo. I forgot. All right. When you're decorating your house, on the right side, if you're going to use the mechanism for the pop-up sign, you want to wait and put your window and flower on. Flowers, or how many ever you're using. So I'm taking mine back up because I forgot. Okay, so let's get our mechanism out. And this is how it should look after it's cut. And let's work our 3 score lines. We have 1, 2, 3, and they are going to be mountain folds. Now, once we've got that fixed, if you fold this in half and then
fold on our V fold. Fold it towards you and then away from you. And just do it a couple of times. And then we're going to open it up. And this score line here, you can fold it towards us and then back away. And we're going to push this in so we have a V here, okay? And it should fold back like so. But for this to work, what we're going to do is take a little glue and put it here, and then we're going to fold this piece towards us, okay? So why don't we go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so once we have this side glued down, and you might have to give it a little push back in, like our little V right there, but once you push it back in, it should slide and work down in the fold, that piece, okay? Alright, so we need to figure out where to put our house. I usually do about 3.5 inches up from the bottom, I mean. So your V fold right here will straddle your score line. Okay, and what I'm doing is just gonna mark about 3 inches from the top if you want to measure it that way. So I'm just gonna put a little mark here where I want my house to be placed. So now what we need to do is this tab goes on our window like so. So this piece needs to be facing up like so when we put it on our side. I should have waited to put on this too. Okay, so it should be sitting like this when we go to put it on the side of our house, okay? What I do on this back side is I get a little piece of my paper that matches my house, and I'm gonna glue it onto here so the yellow tab is not being seen. So I'll fold mine down on the table like so, and then just bump this up to the score line. And then once it's on, I just take my scissors and go snip the excess off. Alrighty. Then once we have this piece on, we are going to line the bottom of this tab to the bottom of our house here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and I'm just gonna center it in the middle of this section of the house. So you'll just put a little glue here and then place it down on this section of the house. So that's how it looks. You want to make sure you give this a second to dry because this is going to be pulled, so we want to make sure it's glued really good. And then while this is drying, I'm going to go back and put the rest of the stuff back on my house that I took off. What I did with my window is I just cut it on this edge right here between the two windows. So right here I'm going to snip it. And then I'm going to place this piece underneath in the center on my tab. And then this piece on the top. So it still looks like we have our little scenery going on. I think I need to move it over a little. Okay, so you get the idea. Now once this is dry, which I think it is, when you fold this tab back, everything needs to be laying flat like this. If you have it like this, that's not correct. So we want to make sure our flap is out like this and this tab is folded over. So then what we'll do is line our edge up back over here, and we're going to put glue on this side. So on our left side of our house, we're going to put glue on that tab down here. And then once we have our glue, we're going to line this point up to where our little dot is at. And then once we have this side down, again, just making sure everything is flat over here. So it should be looking like this. We're going to put glue on this tab and glue on this tab, and then we're going to fold our card too. When you put this down, you really need to make sure it's dried before you open it up, okay? So while this is sitting and drying, what we can do is get our tree pieces, tire swing. You will need some kind of string or yarn, something to hold it if you're going to use it. So what I did is folded my string in half, then looped it through my tire swing, and then grabbed my two pieces and tied it together like that for that end. And then you can just place it anywhere you want on your tree. And I'm gonna wait to see where it sits on my house before I do that. Now these pieces for your tree just line up anywhere you want. So I'm just gonna put a little glue on the back of this and then put my little green piece on it. There we have it. So your piece is open over here. So to figure out where you can lay it, if you put your card down, so now you look in there, it's in the closed position. You can decide where you want to lay this piece on your mechanism so it's not seen outside your card. When you go to put glue on, we only want glue in this area here, okay? Don't go past your cut line right there. Also, if your house is kind of catching a little bit, what you can do is kind of curl the, and you could take a pencil, see how I kind of curled that edge in over there? You can curl all of your little corners of your house. So the corners of the house I have curled under just a little. So when it goes to close, it's not catching on anything. Now for your tree, you can place it anywhere you want on the back of your house. So it doesn't matter where you put it. And I'm going to go ahead and tie my little tire swing to my tree. I like that. You see that back there? So I like that. I'm going to go ahead and tie mine off. And I think right there is where I'm going to place mine. So I'm just going to put a little glue on it and then stick it to the house. Okay guys, so this is what I ended up doing. Just a little part of what is to look like on the inside of our card. I just did a window with the flowers and then a door and some more flowers and ribbon down here. And then we open it up and we have our cute little house. Also in the file, there is these stepping stones that I made that you're more than welcome to use. And then we just have our little sign that says hello. And then that's what it looks like on the side of the card. And on this side. And then on the back, of course, we have a place where we can write a message. And I just think this turned out so cute, guys, with the little tire swing. Does anybody know what a house wears and a dress? Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by and crafting with me. Don't forget to stop by next week to see what's popping and dropping. Bye.